Hi everybody, hello and welcome as always. I am Sean. This is In The Mixer as we continue our hashtag United series in Football Manager 2019. Now you guys might be thinking, Sean, why are you wearing your future clothing? Because we're going to do another Time Warp episode today. We're going to jump ahead in the future, mainly because we're working against the ticking clock. There's not that much time until FM20 and the beta version of that game is actually going to release. By the time this episode comes out, I think it's the 11th of October. And at the rate that they're currently announcing like new features and whatever else, I just can't see really there being an additional week before that beta comes out. And really I want to give this series kind of a decent finish. And then as soon as the FM beta comes out, move on to our Atletico Madrid save and start getting that FM20 content out there as quickly as possible. But in order to give it that good finish, and what I think everybody wants to see is eventually us getting into as high a division as possible, which means that we do need to kind of jump ahead a couple of years, jump ahead a couple of leagues, see how we get on at the higher level, and then maybe spend the last season or the last season two recording those full divisions trying to get into the Premier League. So what we're going to do is we're carrying on from where we last finished off. At the beginning of Season 9, you've already kind of seen a glimpse of the squad here, but we are starting to put together some really high-quality players. First, the outs, Valeriano Rodriguez has moved on. He's gone to Bromley. Alex Vaughan to Braintree Tran, Chancel Kiembe, Jason Fisher, Richard Threkage, and Mark Robinson have all left. And because we are now on full-time contracts and able to offer full-time wages, we've brought in some absolute quality. Look at some of the teams here. We picked up from Brighton, West Brom, Burnley, Arsenal, Chelsea, Sheffield Wednesday, Leicester, Manchester United. There's ex-Tottenham players in there, there's ex-Manchester City players in there, there's ex-Chelsea players in there. There's a lot of really good players that we've been fortunate enough to pick up. If you see on screen now, you'll look at the depth chart for our Season 9 side. I'm just going to pick out a couple of the key members that we want to look at. The first one being up top, Johnny Roscoe. He's going to play as our deep line forward on support. He's initially a pressing forward, but absolute quality. He is an ex-Manchester City player, never played for the first team, just came through the youth. Really good acceleration. Pretty decent first touch, free kick taking, whatever else. If his finishing catches up, he's going to be great. His passing's already a 7. Good teamwork, good work rate. I think he's going to be fantastic for us, having come directly from that setup. Another stars that we picked up are Joe Helm in midfield, who plays our box-to-box role. You can see he's very versatile. He can play quite a few roles very well. Really good acceleration, leadership, natural fitness, free kick taking, first touch, passing technique. He can do a bit of it all. Young Irish under-19 international. Really high potential, picking him up from Chelsea. Alongside him, it's another Chelsea player, Anthony Ridgewell, who plays our deep line playmaker. Oh, sorry, I apologise. He's an ex-Everton player. Physicals are still developing, still only 18 years old. Good mental stats, good technical attributes, already 3.5-star current ability and 5-star potential. And then the star at the back, I think, is going to be Brett Redley. He immediately comes in and becomes our best player. Signed from Arsenal on a free transfer. 4-star current ability, 5-star potential, tremendous physical attributes, tremendous mental attributes, pretty decent technical attributes as well. Only heading as a key attribute is below 10 and it's at a 9. If we can get him comfortable in that central defend role, he's going to be fantastic for us. But really happy with the squad as it's come together. There's a lot of faces here that you might remember from the last season. And of course, some tremendously high potential in the squad. A lot of players that if we can get promoted, if we can challenge for the title this season, that we can bring up with us into the high divisions. But of course, magic of editing, we're going to jump forward, we're going to do the time warp, we're going to skip ahead and see how we've actually gone through in Season 9, and then look at what we want to try and do for Season 10 and how we might balance that out a little bit ahead of time. But again, magic of editing, you guys won't have to watch any of that, so we're going to jump ahead now. Alright, so just like that, we're at the end of the season. We had a fantastic year. We ended up finishing in second spot to Filed. I'll go through how the end of the season went in a moment. We kind of bottled it a little bit, but we finished with 79 points from 46 games, 23 wins, 10 draws, and 13 losses in that period, plus 23 goal difference, the most goals scored in the division, 10th best conceded, 5th highest yellow cards, the worst average attendance in the competition. But still an excellent year. You can see I've already cleared out a couple of players. We lost a couple throughout the course of the season as well. A star performer, though, it was Johnny Roscoe. Absolutely fantastic. We actually had a bit of a tactical tweak. I'll show you that in a second. And played him as a pressing forward on defend. And his development has just continued at a stellar rate. He's moved up to 5-star potential. I think he was 4.5 last time we looked. Great acceleration still. Just an absolute beast this season. 22 goals in 38 league appearances. 27 goals in all competitions. Highest average rating for him. Anthony Gilligan was a beast again on the left wing. Oliver Heim played a lot of games, got an 85% passing ratio. Justin O'Loughlin, who was his partner for the majority of the season in midfield. The guys that we brought in, Anthony Ridgewell, and Joe Helm didn't quite work out the way that I'd wanted them to, but that's all right. We still did incredibly well. If you look at the record across here, you can see with about 10 games to go, we were sitting in first spot and we were cruising along nicely. And if you look at our schedule here, how the season finished, we just started to crumple under pressure. Going into April, we were well and truly on top. A good 2-0 win got us in our way against Blackpool, but then we dropped points against Cheltenham, a 3-1 loss, dropped points against Dag and Red, a 0-0 draw, and then 2 defeats to Northampton and Doncaster, losing 3-2 on the final day to a 90th minute winner, was enough to see Fylde get promoted as champions ahead of us. If we hadn't conceded that 90th minute winner, we would have gone level on points, 80 points, and ahead on goal difference. So absolutely devastating for that one to go. But look, I haven't really bottled anything throughout the course of the series so far. So, we're going to take the little ones as they come. End of season awards, Fans Player of the Season, Johnny Roscoe. Goal of the season, Johnny Wakefield, who we picked up throughout the course of the year and played as like a 10 alongside Johnny Roscoe. Johnny Roscoe, of course, getting signing of the season, and Young Player of the Season, Daniel Williams, who again we picked up throughout the course of the year. A phenomenal poacher, playing alongside him up front. 4-star current ability, 5-star potential. He's been absolutely excellent, and has just been called up to the Welsh under-21 squad for the first time. It does mean we'll go up. The top 2 teams go up from the League 2 setup, as does Doncaster in third, who were level on points with this as well, and the playoffs were incredibly tight. The whole division actually was incredibly tight, all the way down. I think from Fylde in first down to Northampton in 10th, there's only 12 points difference. So really, it's just one of those swings of form type things. As far as the Emirates FA Cup go, we had a great run. We were knocked out in the 4th round by Huddersfield Town, the furthest we've gotten in that competition to date. We were knocked out in the first round of the Carabao Cup, but we didn't prioritise it that highly by Wycombe Wanderers, and we were knocked out in the southern section of the Czech Shade Trophy. Again, didn't really care about that one. Aston Villa's under-23 side is the one that won it. And if we look at our season review, match of the season, a 3-0 win against Bradford very early in the year in September, which was fantastic. And the moment to forget, a heavy 5-0 defeat to Grimsby, who didn't actually do that well this season. I think they finished 5th in the end, but I don't think they were doing that well when they beat us up and around the place at our home in the Hive. We have, of course, by moving into League 2, moved ahead of Barnet in terms of the league structure for the people playing out of the Hive. So I don't know if that means we're going to take control of it. It is a county-run facility. Barnet aren't the official owners of it, so I don't know if we're going to see some development on that respect, but we'll keep an eye on that as we go. But enough about Season 9. We're going to again jump ahead in time to the start of Season 10 and introduce you to the new squad and the signs we've made. I've got a ton of work to do to compete at League 1 level, but let's do that now. So just like that, we've jumped ahead a couple of months again to the end of July 2027, which is the first game of the League 1 season. There are some massive teams in this competition. Aston Villa's in it, Barnsley's in it, Burton's in it. They've all been in the championship in the last couple of seasons. Preston's down there somehow, who are a really good side to manage at the start of the game. Rotherham, Sheffield Wednesday, Wigan, there's a whole bunch of teams that have played at a Premier League or Championship level for a long time that are now in League 1. So we're actually starting to meet some of the big clubs within English football. Introducing you guys to the squad and going through our tactical tweaks first, actually. I'll show you guys that. We've mainly just switched our attacking structure to have a pressing forward on support with Johnny Roscoe, just because he's so good in that role and so excellent scoring those goals for us last season. And Daniel Williams leading the line as a poacher. Both tremendous ability, both tremendous potential as well. If we can just get them firing, I don't see any reason why we can't do well in this division. But as we noted, there's some massive, massive clubs. Again, we're maintaining our philosophy of going after good young players getting released from higher division teams. Particularly, we start with teams around the London area like Tottenham, Arsenal, Chelsea, whoever else. But we've also been able to pick up some teams in the northeast and other areas of England as well, picking up from Stoke and Liverpool and Crystal Palace as well. But some really excellent players. We have lost quite a few. Bernard Gallagher's headed to Crewe for actual money this time. Bez Metin, who was our Turkish right winger last season, has gone to York for 33k, which is the highest transfer fee we've received so far in the series. Joe Helm and Johnny Wakefield have both gone back to Ireland to Bohemians. Tony Smith has gone to Dover on a free. Ryan Agnew went to Boreham Wood on a free. All excellent players, but time to replace them with some actual quality, and we have definitely managed to do that. Again, I'm just going to pick out a couple of the stars. I've lined everybody up in what I think is pretty much our best shape and formation. Some massively high potential players here, but there's a couple of stars that we want to look at. The first one being Scott Dunn, who's on quite a bit of money. You'll see there's a massive spike now in wages that we're offering, and he's the highest paid player we've ever had on 2k a week. 4-star current ability, 5-star potential, only 18 years old, released from Tottenham, made one first team appearance for them, so he has played in the Premier League before. Really good stats there. And then alongside him is Francis Ukama, also 4-star current ability and 5-star potential. Ex-Crystal Palace, he's not quite comfortable in the central defender role as his natural yet, but have a look at some of these stats. 16 bravery, 15 balance, 15 heading, 12 marking, 11 tackling. Like, for a 19-year-old player who has only made one first-team appearance in the championship, that is a pretty phenomenal stat line, and I think he's going to be excellent for us at this division. David Edens is continuing to grow up and develop, and his potential still isn't anywhere near being hit, so he's going to continue playing. Pernell Lastich we've picked up. He's a St. Lucian international who'll play on the right wing. Mick Forrest, Carl Watson are the two midfielders. I particularly want to highlight Carl Watson because I think he looks quality. Ex-Chelsea midfielder, probably the first player I think we've had that has potential enough to maybe even get into Premier League football eventually. I don't want to get ahead of ourselves because we've got a long way to go, but 17 teamwork, 15 decision making, 14 first touch, good passing, tackling technique. He's going to play mainly as that box-to-box midfielder for us because he looks absolute quality. 20 years old. He's on a couple of season deal. He's also on 2K a week, but looks to be a quality player. And then the last one I want to introduce you to is Ruben Montero, the left winger. Only 4.5 star current potential, but I look at some of his stats here. 16 acceleration, 13 pace, 12 stamina, 13 determination, 11 vision, 12 work rate, 13 crossing, 11 first touch. Good passing, good technique. Like, there's not really much more you could ask for out of a left winger who's only 18 years old. He's a Portugal under-21 international, released from Tottenham. We've picked him up. He's on a K a week on a 2-year deal. Excellent business for us, and I think he's going to be absolutely fantastic. But again, more than enough from me. We want to jump ahead. We want to see where we go. We're going to jump ahead to the end of the Sky Bet League 1 season and see how we go in our first season in the competition. Magic of editing, we're going to do that now. It's happened again. Don't ask me about it. About 5 games remaining. Top of the league. Carrying our way through. Barnsley have pipped us to it. Equal on points with a plus 20 goal difference. They had an excellent second half of the season. So we finished with 24 wins, 10 draws, 12 losses. And if we look at our last month again, I don't know if it's because we're deliberately picking young teams, but we had a pretty excellent start to the year. Went undefeated throughout February. Only lost a couple in cup competitions in January. Got absolutely pummeled by Fylde 3-0. Out of nowhere, by the way. They weren't doing particularly well this season. Beat the shit out of us. 5 straight wins. I thought, yes, we're flying. We're going to win the league. And then my hubris came back to bit me. We lost 4-1 to Barnsley, who eventually pipped us at the post. A 1-0 loss to Colchester. And then for the second time in as many seasons, a last day defeat by Doncaster. Last year they scored a 90th minute winner to cost us the title. This year they scored an 86 minute winner, and we missed a penalty in that game to eventually hand the title to Barnsley. If we had have gotten a draw, if we had have gotten a win, that would have been enough to see us go ahead by either a single point or 2 points or whatever else and finish as champions. And we're now in back-to-back seasons where we have bottled the league at some point after leading it very late in the year. We're continually, we've had this consistent run where if we can get through to Christmas in kind of the playoff positions, we do really well in the next season. Like that, once we have that gap between a Saturday game all the way through to a Saturday game, we get to have the full week of training. We consistently are doing really well in that respect, but something just keeps happening towards the end of these seasons where I'm just getting torn apart. It's actually starting to kill me. But again, Johnny Roscoe, 17 goals. Again, our leading scorer and Golden Boot winner. We do still get promoted, by the way. Second spot goes up in an automatic promotion space. We don't have to worry about playoffs. We don't have to worry about any of that. We are in the championship, so I should be happier. But it's just it's so deflating to lose on the last day of the season. Carl Watson was magnificent, 7.14, gave him the highest average rating across the competition. Ruben Montero with the most assists was excellent. Mick Forrest, who we spoke about briefly, played as our deep line playmaker, and he had an excellent pass completion. Carl Watson, most player of the match awards. We scored the second highest goals in the divisions. We had the fourth highest yellow cards. Again, the worst average attendance, though we did double it from last season. So we are growing a little bit, but taking a step in the right direction. The big one, and you may see it over here, for the first time, really, at any point in the series, we are in positive financial health. We are doing well. We've got £1.24 million in the bank. The reason that we have that is because we went on a good FA Cup run again. We only got to the third round, not as far as last year, but it was evident across 2 legs that actually knocked us out in the end. Premier League evident. 6th in the Premier League, Everton knocked us out, and it took them 2 legs to do it. So we're definitely on the right track. Carabao Cup again, didn't pull up any sticks. Check Trade Trophy, I don't care about. Check Trade Trophy is where I'm rotating players and trying to keep squad people happy and whatever else. And, that's fine. You can see here the hashtag United board praise an unbelievable promotion because it is the last day of the season today. Lachlan was happy and we get a little bit of cash with that. Our initial budgets for next season are $3.34 million as a transfer budget. We've never had any sort of transfer budget to work with, and $41.5K a week, which is absolutely insane because I think we're spending less than half that right now on the players that we've got. So either we're going to try and keep a lot of these guys that have high potential, really from 4.5 stars above, and try and give them, some better deals so we can get rid of any release fees they might have. get rid of any overhead we might have, any other teams that are currently in there wanting them, and you can see that's like a long-running theme for the entire squad. And of course, the guys that have really good current ability, we want to keep them, we want to continue to build around them and put together a decent side to stay up in the championship, because there's 2 big jumps in the league, I think, or 3, let's be honest, 3. When you make the jump into League 2 and go to professional football, when everyone's on professional contracts, when you jump up into the championship, where there are a lot of teams spending a lot of money and a lot of teams that have really high wages because they've dropped down from the Premier League. Think about like when we knocked out Crystal Palace in the FA Cup a couple of seasons ago. They had like players worth £45 million and stuff like that. So another massive jump. And then the big one is not to the Premier League, but getting out of like the bottom half of the Premier League and in towards that top 6 area, because there's just so much money that's required to compete with those teams, because they just keep developing their own players. They keep doing whatever else. We've only had one player, Ben Barton, and he's not particularly good, that has come through our youth structure yet. We're yet to develop any real hashtag academy stars that have played first team football, whereas those sides at the top of the Premier League, they're creating stars every year, and every year we're trying to poach them. So we're in for a rough ride, I think, in the championship, and if we can recruit well and keep it smart and play a more conservative brand of football, I think we can do enough to stay in the division. And I think we have some good players here that are still yet to hit their straps in terms of overall potential and overall ability that could potentially propel us up that league as well. So again, magic of editing, I'm going to do the off-season now. We're going to jump ahead to our first season in the championship. Alright, so just like that, we are through and at the start of the championship season. We haven't played any games yet. I'll introduce you guys to the squad first. If you have a look at the depth chart that you can see up on the screen now, Season 11 well and truly underway. We've got a couple of new faces that we should probably introduce you guys to. Some massive potential here, some massive current ability as well. One of the biggest achievements that we've had is keeping the hold of the guys that did so well last season. Guys like Scott Dunn, Francis Ukama, Johnny Roscoe, Ruben Montero, like they were all excellent in League One, and I'm hoping that they can make the jump to championship football as well. Last season was really where we met that tipping point where we weren't signing just talented juniors from the London clubs or from championship teams. We were actually starting to pick up juniors as they were leaving big clubs, and that's continued this season. Picked up 5 players from Manchester United. All of them look absolute quality. A couple I want to focus on. Yanni Vlachos, who's he's an ex-Manchester United player, but he's still a Greek youth international, 35 under-21 caps despite only being 20 years old. A left-footed centre-back, which we haven't had since Darren Downing, and Darren Downing was a pain in the arse at the best of times. He's not currently starting, but I'm desperate to actually give him some game time. Excellent physical attributes, 16 acceleration, 15 strength, excellent mental attributes. Technical work needs a little bit, but like he's still 20 years old. He's got time ahead of him. He's on 2K a week. We've got him for a couple of years. An excellent pickup for us. Picked up Zach Colquhoun, I think is the correct pronunciation, from Burnley. He's going to play in goal, and Gallagher, who's been an excellent servant for the last 2 seasons, will jump to the bench. 3.5 star current ability, 5-star potential, a phenomenal player. Great agility, good physical attributes for a 20-year-old player, also on 2K a week. Also, we've got him for a couple of seasons, so he's going to be great. And then most of the other ones that you see here are backup players in the squad. I wouldn't expect Mark Flynn to get ahead of Pernal Lastich on the right wing. I wouldn't expect Bareka to play ahead of Johnny Roscoe up top, but Tom Thompson might actually work his way into the senior side. He's an excellent poacher, only 18 years of age. He's a young English talent. Never made a first-team appearance for Manchester United despite being around their academy for a few years. 15 finishing for an 18-year-old player is absolutely phenomenal. So we're going to give him as much time as possible in that poacher role alongside Johnny Roscoe and continue to try and develop our players that way. Another one that we picked up is Bradley Warren from Manchester City, also an excellent player. We'll still probably be behind Carl Watson once Carl Watson returns from suspension, but still an excellent pickup for us. And if he can start to turn some of these 9s and 8s into 10s, he's going to be a phenomenal player throughout the course of the series. And only because I think I forgot to mention him last time out, we'll look at Regis Marius, who was fantastic for us last season. Right wing back, still only 18 as a Frenchman. We picked him up from Liverpool last season. Phenomenal stamina, phenomenal mental attributes, excellent technical attributes for a fullback. He's excellent in possession. He's brilliant winning it back. Just does everything really well. We struggled to actually keep him during this last off-season. He's had his head turned a couple of times by a couple of different teams, but we've managed to keep him, and hopefully he can help us get through this first season in the championship. I did talk about it earlier, but the jump to the championship is massive. So really we're just focusing on playing with a bit more of a cautious mentality, trying to get through the season, stay in the division, and then we'll rebuild after that, because we'll be able to bring in more high quality players, and a lot of these guys, hopefully with a season of championship football under their belt, will go from being like 2-star and 3-star current ability to like 4 and 5. That's the hope, that's the plan. But again, magic of editing, we're going to we're going to jump ahead to the end of that season now. All right, so we've finally hit our ceiling. I think it's been a bit of a struggle. We finished 19th. We managed to hit that magical 50-point mark, which was so key to getting us out of the relegation spots. We did briefly flirt with it. We sat around 20th for a little bit, but never really dropped down into those positions. 20th was as low as I thought we were all season. And in reality, we started pretty strong, but just struggled to kind of maintain any sort of consistency throughout the course of the season. As far as the individual performers go, Johnny Roscoe, 21 goals, third season in a row as the Golden Boot winner. He's been magnificent and also had our highest average rating with a 7.15 and the most assists with 7 assists. Simon Meachin, who we picked up during the off-season from Liverpool, was excellent as our deep line playmaker for the majority of the year. Bradley Warren had an excellent year as well, kind of competing with Carl Watson for that starting position. Again, we did well scoring, 10th highest. We had one of the worst defensive records in the competition, 21st best with 75 goals conceded. We led the league in both yellow and red cards and had the worst average attendance. So we're not pulling up any stumps in terms of team stats, but as I hover over here and look at our finance and salary, we are continuing to move in the right direction, which is fantastic. We started the season with about £1 million in the bank, and we're finishing the season with about 4.3. Considering where we were and like getting our wage budgets cut not that long ago, and like not that long ago in the episodes that you guys will have seen, that is absolutely fantastic that we're finally actually starting to become a profitable company. The majority of the profitable club, but the majority is because we're getting TV revenue by playing in the championship. So my hope is with the season here, some of the players that we've got that still have relatively high potential, that are still performing at a high level, and I've filtered out some of the guys that probably aren't there, are going to continue to become 4 and 5 star players. And if we can keep hold of everyone, I think we can also continue to try and bring in some high quality recruits. You'll notice we're getting a little bit more specific with our scouting and who we're going after. So rather than having big long lists where I was just trying to filter through who might actually come, we're picking out specific people that we want to go after and trying to get them ahead of their end of contract instead of having to wait for them to actually get released and then, come back after that. Now, a couple of mid-season departures, a couple of mid-season endings. You would have seen David Edens move to Reading. They paid his release clause. I couldn't do anything about it. But we did also pick up throughout the course of the season Pat Ferguson, who is somehow just a random player. He has no previous affiliate club. We picked him up and he's been absolutely fantastic. 2.5 star current ability, 5 star potential. He plays like a man with 5 star current ability. He's a poacher naturally. We're using him as a deep lying forward kind of, and occasionally he's an advanced forward. 14 finishing, 14 balance. He was absolutely fantastic throughout the course of the season. He was pretty much what I wanted Tom Thompson to initially be, and that didn't work out the way that it happened, but thankfully Pat came through and was absolutely excellent for us. As was Yanni Vlachos. We actually ended up sending Scott Dunn out on loan to Chesterfield because he was getting upset about his playing time. Yakama and Vlachos were our central defensive partnership, and that's really where we kind of got our shit together and started to concede a lot less. Same with Mick Forrest. He just didn't play that much because Carl Watson was doing quite well, Bradley Warren was doing quite well, and we didn't really need that third midfielder, but he expected to be a first-team player. So we've sent them out on loan with the idea is that they're going to come back, they're going to help us in the next season in the championship and give us a bit more squad depth so that we have more players that are either at 4-star current ability or 3.5-star current ability with high potential, and we'll actually start to have like a good, deep squad for the first time really at this level. Again, easy for me to say that, but what could end up happening is entirely different. So magic of editing, we're going to jump ahead to the start of our second season in the championship and our 12th season overall. You guys won't have to watch that though, we're going to jump forward. Okay, just like that, we're at the start of season 12. It's been a pretty rough off-season, I'm not going to lie to anybody. Everybody has been trying to leave, but we've managed to hold on to quite a few different players. There's quite a few that are unhappy and that want to actually move on to other clubs. So while we do have the depth chart that you're going to see up here now, I think there's a couple of players and names that you're going to see there that won't necessarily be there too far into the season or too much further into the transfer window, which closes in about 2 weeks. We're going to run through the team a little bit. Zach Colquhoun will continue in goal. He was excellent last season for the majority of the time. We're going to go with Vlachos and Yakama as our central defensive partnership. Scott Dunn's going to kind of drop out of that, and he's not happy about it. So there's potential that he's going to leave shortly, and it looks like he's going to join one of our rivals in the division. But we have also picked up Noah McDonald as another backup. He's an ex-Liverpool... Is it Liverpool? Yes, Liverpool central defender. He looks like he's going to be excellent for us. On the wings, we picked up a very talented and exciting-looking junior in Aidan Graydon. Not just because his name rhymes, but ex-Tottenham, a good wing-back, pretty comfortable in that wing-back support role, excellent physical attributes, excellent mental attributes, good technical stats for what we need him to be able to do. Only 18, and he's English. He's going to be fantastic for us. Picking up English talent is proving really difficult because everybody just wants to go in for them because they're so expensive to buy from clubs. So when someone gets released, it's really tough. We've signed our first real loan signing of the season, Ignacio Macan, Argentine international, or Argentine under-20 international, I should say. We picked him up from Chelsea just on a season-long loan. Again, excellent technical attributes, good mentals, phenomenal physical stats. He will play on the other wing-back position, and really that's been the main focus, trying to secure our future from a defensive perspective so that we improve last year's 75 goals conceded, which is really what held us back. We actually scored pretty well last season, but we just continued to lose a lot of games. We signed Robbie Sullivan, who's an ex-Manchester United winger on the right wing. He looks absolutely fantastic and has been excellent in both training and pre-season so far. Great physical attributes, great mental attributes, great technical attributes. 20 years of age, on 2k a week, which isn't a tremendous amount. Couple of years for him. If we can get out of this division and drag him up into the Premier League with us, he's going to be phenomenal. Iwan Harrington, again, another Manchester United player. We aren't deliberately focusing on them, but they just seem to keep creating such high quality juniors. It's tough not to keep going in for them. Great physical attributes, great mental attributes, 14 first touch, 13 passing, 15 technique, already comfortable as a deep line playmaker. We do need to improve his tackling a little bit, but a full season, the Welsh Youth International is going to be fantastic for us. Bradley Warren's currently playing alongside him, but I also think he's going to leave as well. He's on the transfer list at his own request. I don't know why he wants to leave. There wasn't a particular team that bid on him that we turned down or anything. He just decided to hand in transfer request, which is crazy. Anthony Gilligan, who's been fantastic for us and is now a homegrown club player, will lead the line. And two massive signings up front. Peter Orofu, who we've picked up from Chelsea as well. A phenomenal beast in terms of physical attributes. Everything is over at least 11, and his stamina is improving each week as well. Can play on either foot. He's got 17 flair, 12 dribbling, 13 free kick taking, 12 technique. He plays a pressing forward or an advanced forward on attack. We're going to use him as an advanced forward and kind of adjust our tactic back to that deep line forward, advanced forward structure. Like, I love Johnny Roscoe. Johnny Roscoe was excellent, was our leading scorer for 3 seasons in a row, but he's just kind of hit his ceiling and is now only really expected to be about a 3-star potential player. And I need someone that can push us up into the higher division. So alongside him is going to come in Reece Judd, ex-Wolves junior. Made 3 appearances for their first team at a Premier League level. Can play as a good pressing forward, but we're going to try and get him to work on that deep line playmaker support role because he's got excellent teamwork, off the ball, decisions, composure. I think those mental attributes are going to improve. Great natural fitness, great strength. If his passing can catch up, he will be excellent for us. 3.5-star current ability, 4.5-star potential. And 22 years of age. He's probably one of the older players that we've actually recruited into the side. But we've got some excellent players here. I'm a lot more hopeful than I was at the start of the season. There's guys like, if Scott Dunn stays, he'll be phenomenal for us. If Pat Ferguson continues his development from last season, he'll probably challenge Reece Judd for a starting position in the side. Eric Craig, I haven't mentioned, we picked up from Burnley. He looks like a quality left winger who will probably start ahead of Anthony Gilligan on the left wing. But our main focuses have been fixing our defensive structures so that we don't concede as much. And we're going to actually go after it a little bit more this season and try and be a bit more positive. And hopefully that will help us jump up the division and finish higher than the 19th we did last season. Again, magic of editing, we are going to jump forward to the end of the season and see how we go. Alright, we are not at the end of the season. You might be asking why. We finished 5th overall in the league and made it through to the playoffs, which means today, for the first time, we are in the playoff for the I nearly said the Champions League, for the Championship promotion position to get into the Premier League. It's the first opportunity we've had at the entire series to get in Premier League football. It's further ahead of where I thought it was going to be. I really thought at various times throughout the course of this year, when we had little rough patches of form, like in February, at the start of January, a period of back-to-back defeats and a 6-1 humbling from Portsmouth in November, that I thought, oh shit, we're going to spend another season in the Championship and this is going to drag on to be much longer than I thought. But we managed to rally, we managed to get some decent results in March and April against teams above us in the division. And then in the playoffs, we have been absolutely heroic. Bradley Warren, who you may remember back at the start of the season, did not want to play, wanted to leave, wanted to go and play for other sides, still has a transfer request in because he's worried about Iwan Harrington, who he's played alongside the entire season. He was a beast in that first leg fixture against Reading. Got the goal to put us ahead very early in the game, 20th minute. We just kind of held them at bay the entire time. They didn't have much to speak of in terms of opportunities. And then a 2-1 defeat away from home in the second leg, but enough to get through In penalties, Zach Colquhoun was the hero. Harvey Morton got a double in the 5th and 64th minute. We went 2-0 down, and I thought, oh shit, we're screwed. Reece Judd pulled one back in the 67th minute after we'd made some subs and changed our tactic a little bit. And then in the penalty shootout, Harvey Morton saved from the first penalty by Zach Colquhoun. We then scored 2. They scored 3. We missed another 2, Ignacio McCann and Reece Judd. And then thankfully, just when I thought we were going to actually throw it away, Baptiste Belech missed the 5th penalty, the decisive one. Aidan Graydon, who has been phenomenal this season, scored. And then Matthew Martin missed, setting the table for Bradley Warren, the hero again, to step up and take the winning penalty to put us through into the playoff final, which we're going to play against West Brom. Interestingly, they finished 6th. We finished 5th in the end, both on 74 points. We were only ahead of them via goal difference, but they beat the living shit out of Brentford when we beat Reading. So both those teams that were the 3rd and 4th seeds in the playoffs were eliminated across the first leg fixtures. And for those of you curious, Swansea and Newcastle were the teams that actually won the division. Swansea ran away with it. They were fantastic. I think they were pretty much on top the entire time. We actually started okay and were first, I think, about 5 games in, and then we got back up towards... And just quickly, our best performers, Reece Judd, 21 goals. Anthony Gilligan, the highest average rating, which is fantastic. I thought Eric Craggs, the left winger we signed from Burnley, was going to be mainly like one of our wing stars for this season, but he never kicked on. Anthony Gilligan, despite now coming through, I think, 3 separate divisions with us, was phenomenal. 16 assists throughout the course of the season, and I don't see any reason why we couldn't take him up with us, but I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves. We're just going to focus on beating West Brom, focusing on that match, winning the game, getting promotion, getting up into the Premier League, and finishing the series on such a high note with a couple of seasons in the First Division. Alright, and this is how we're going to line up. We're in our 4-4-2 hashtag United shape. We are back again, I think I mentioned it already, but using a deep line forward and an advanced forward. Judd and Orofu will be the 2 to lead the line today. They are pretty much a team of very talented regens. Maximo Taino, who we actually looked at, his I think it was Timu Taino, the ex-Tottenham striker. It's his son. We tried to pick him up a bunch of different times. He's had quite the career since leaving Tottenham back in the day. Played in Austria, then Norwich, then the US for a season, then Sheffield United, and now West Brom, where he's been for nearly 100 appearances. But he's the last remaining normal player, 29 years old, Finnish international. They've got another one on the bench in Troy Parrott, who we also tried to sign. Another ex-Tottenham player, an Irish player, 28 years old. He looks an absolutely fantastic player. I don't know why he's not starting, but I'm grateful that he's not, because he's on another level. And I'm just hopeful. Like, we're in good form. They're in good form as well. They smashed Brentford across the 2 games. I think they won 3-0 at home and then 2-1 away from home. We're just going to passionately say, media have given you a lot of credit lately. It's usually successful. I want to go with that. And I'm also just going to say, I don't want to overcomplicate everything. Is everyone's motivated? Why would I try and do anything more? And I'd love to get out of this division, because if we can get into the Premier League, we can recruit so much heavier. The one thing we haven't done this season is really gone like wonder kid hunting. And I think if we get into the Premier League, we might actually be able to get work permits for people, because they're playing in the highest division. They'll transfer from the highest division, and hopefully with that TV revenue, we'll actually be able to pay some decent transfer fees to bring quality in and continue to grow and develop as quickly as possible before we get to the end of the series. Alright, 33 minutes gone, so we are going to demand more, and very little has actually gone on in this game. No one's taking really a hold in terms of match stats. Well, here we go. I had to open my stupid mouth. Taino with the ball, who we spoke about. It's a deep cross across, and Bishop with the header forward. Thankfully, he's going to be ruled out for offside, but it looked like he came back across and then beat a few men in the air to knock that one home. So first highlight is them putting the ball in the back of the net, but thankfully it has been withdrawn. We just need to get ourselves through to half-time at a level stage so we can regroup a bit and then go again. So at half-time, they've had 9 shots, 3 on target, 45% possession. We've had 6, 3, and 55% possession. 2 yellow cards apiece, which we're going to have to keep an eye on in the second half. And I'm going to passionately say I'm happy with your performance so far. Keep it up. Everyone seems to respond positively, but we need them to maintain focus. And we're going to give it about 15 minutes. And then, as we always do, we'll have a look at those 2 yellow cards, which are a bit of a concern, and also form, fitness, whatever else, and make our subs at that point. It's McCann and Warren, the left back and the central midfielder, that have picked up the yellow cards, but they have also similarly picked up 2, and they're on a similar foul count to us as well. So we might be 2 of the scrappier sides in the division. Here we go. First highlight with the ball. Judd comes forward, plays it to Gilligan. Back inside to Harrington, to Warren. Inside to Orofu, strikes from distance, and it never really looked like it was going to trouble the keeper just because of the height of it, but at least we've taken a step in the right direction and had our first highlight in this game. They've got one now. It's played forward to Smith, to Brooksby, to Taino at the top of the box. He bursts forward and gets a strike away. It falls to Franson, and Franson thankfully has been ruled out for offside again. They've scored twice and had them both ruled out. So either we're holding a really good defensive line, or they are putting us under more pressure than we are them. Alright, so with 30 minutes remaining, we're going to move to our positive instruction and come off cautious a little bit. We're going to go for the winner a little bit further. We're going to take off Ignacio McCann for Sam Birch, who I don't think you guys have seen yet. He's an ex-Leicester left back. He's a good player. Stuart Parrott will come on as the box-to-box midfielder for Bradley Warren just because of his yellow card as well. We're going to passionately tell everybody that we have faith in them, and at least Stuart Parrott has responded positively. And then we are also going to use good old faithful. I just need it to work one more time. Our get creative shout after an hour to try and create a chance here. And if we can snag a goal, I think we're in a really good position to see out the rest of the 90 minutes. Graydon and Orifu have both picked up yellow cards immediately, but everyone's responded positively to the feedback. They seem inspired. There's a good few out there that seem motivated. They've got a few that are focused, but they've also made some subs. Troy Parrott, who we spoke about in the build-up, who looked like an excellent player, has come on the pitch, and if you look at their match ratings, their goalkeeper and their central defender are their best players that they have out there. Here we go, Birch with a throw-in. It's played to Parrott, so the two subs combining. It's a deep ball across. It's going to come out to Bishop. He goes back to Osmond Clancy, to Robertson, to Osmond Clancy again, to Robertson again. They're just playing between the two full-back and centre-back. Back to Taino, who's had a lot of the ball in these highlights. Forward to Bishop. Bishop from a deep area. Matthews Mellenby looks for a long ball forward, but Birch should tidy up. Vlachos to Harrington. We've managed to recover possession. Long ball forward by McDonald. Swales wins it, but only as far as Parrott. Harrington out to Graydon. We've got a 2v1 on the right if we can work the right ball. Graydon to Sullivan now, who's an excellent crosser. It's a deep one towards Gallagher. Going back post, Anthony Gilligan, his 15th goal of the season. The man who's come up with us from League One football and played 3 seasons now, and continuing to grow and continuing to get better, has put us ahead. 10 minutes remaining in the championship final. I'm trying to keep my voice down because I don't want to kill the headphone users like last time. Gilligan, what a ball that is from Sullivan. Finds his opposing winger on the far side, and that trusty left peg used to steer it home. We are going to use probably our last shout available for the game and demand more, and then I might give it a minute or two, and then maybe we'll look to take off Orifu and bring on another sub. Yeah, let's do that now just to kill a couple of minutes with the 80. We're about to go into the 86 minutes. So we're going to take off Orifu and we're going to bring on Greg Leake to play up front. Just a straight swap. I don't need to do anything too crazy. It's just to try and kill some time. Made that sub now. We just need to see out additional time. There's going to be 4 whole minutes added on. I don't know why they picked 4 because there hasn't been that many highlights. But all we need to do is see it out. All we need to do is get to the end. Oh, it's tense. They've got a deep free kick. Mellenby with a deep one across towards Parrott, who heads it back across to Taino, who can only put it out for a goal kick. He was offside anyway. Just blow the whistle, referee. I don't know why we're taking the free kick from there, and we're done it. We are promoted into the Premier League for the first time. Don't ever forget to hashtag it because we are now a top division side. A 1-0 win against one of the better sides in the division in West Brom. It ended 15 shots, 7 on target, 55% possession. They had 13, 6 and 45, so a very even contest. And I'm hopeful that it was just our tactical tweak there, moving to our positive mentality at the end that got us over the line. Let's go into the dressing room. Let's congratulate everybody. Passionately, that was really special, lads. Nobody gave you a chance, but you played magnificently. Congratulations. Everybody has responded positively to that, which is the best we could really hope for in such a situation. And here we go. Hashtag United win in Sky Bet Championship Playoffs final. A 1-0 win. We showed our class to upstage West Brom. I thought we were the better side, but, whatever. It is what it is. They did have 2 goals ruled out for offside, so I shouldn't say too much. And the pivotal match in our season that they're calling out is a 4-3 victory against Derby at home, which I think was back in September or October. Post-match press conference. Let's go and have a look at it. Incredibly exciting time to see us go into the top division. Absolutely delighted that we're going to get promoted. Incredible feeling and great day for the club. Enough in the squad to make a real challenge and be at the top end of the league again. And then we will immediately go and start trying to bring in some decent players to help us in the Premier League. Got enough to be a real challenge at top end of the league. Okay, whatever. I don't even know what I said for the majority of that. Initial wage budget of $325K. I think our current wage budget is $400K, so we're going to throw some cash at some people. And an initial transfer budget of $22.36 million. Oh, I'm going to bring in £1 million Wonder Kids. Harry Honesty ecstatic with our promotion. I'm sure everybody is ecstatic with it. The board praised an unbelievable promotion. We have taken 12 seasons to get to the Premier League from the start of this year. I don't think we spent any more than 2 seasons in any one particular division. getting promoted during that time. Iwan Harrington, who's fantastic and has actually been called up into the Welsh national side for the first time this season, praised me, and I hope that we can keep him around for our Premier League tilt next year. And £1.4 million to be shared against the squad for finishing 5th in the division and getting promotion from that playoff position. Chelsea won the FA Cup. I don't care so much about that part. This is the one I want to look at. Look at these 4 consecutive promotions. Of course, back in that first season, an undefeated year. Promotion from Vanarama National South, winning that division, and then winning the Vanarama National League 2 years later. Back-to-back promotions in second position from League 2, League 1, and then when we get back in the next episode, there's going to be another green dot that says we were promoted via 5th position from the Championship as well, and we're going to have our first ever season in the Premier League. Now, I think it's the 11th when this video comes out. We're going to try and go to a daily video until the release of FM20, so hopefully we can get like another season, maybe 2 seasons, depending on how quick I can get that upload schedule going. But what a player Anthony Gilligan is. He gets a career for life. He's going to stay here as long as I can possibly keep him. And I'm a little bit hoarse because we have gone through a tremendous amount in this episode. As always, guys, thank you so much for watching. That's the part that I appreciate a tremendous amount. Please help me celebrate our promotion to the Premier League by liking this video. Subscribe to the channel if you want to be kept up to date on future videos. You can follow @FM for all of our Football Manager content and a whole bunch of stuff relating to our future saves for Football Manager 2020. But more than anything, thank you so much for watching, and don't ever forget to hashtag it.